The moment you start wondering if he regrets losing you, you've already looked in the wrong direction. Look at what actually happened. You were dependable. You stood beside him when life became difficult. You noticed what he needed before he asked and stepped in before he had to struggle alone. You carried conversations, solved problems, offered reassurance, and became someone he could count on without hesitation. You gave your time, you gave your energy, you gave your presence. Then the relationship ended. And now your mind keeps drifting back to the same question. Does he regret losing me? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. But that question hides a much bigger truth. If you had received what you deserved, his regret would never have become your concern. Think about that. If your effort had been matched, if your care had been returned, if your needs had mattered as much as his, you wouldn't be spending today trying to imagine what's happening inside his mind. You'd be at peace with your own. That's why this thought keeps circling. It's not proof that he finally realizes your value. It's evidence that you're finally realizing how little came back to you. You weren't looking for his regret. You were looking for reciprocity. You were looking for the same consideration you gave, the same reliability you offered, the same willingness to show up that you brought to the relationship over and over again. What hurts isn't that he may never regret losing you. What hurts is realizing how often you gave what you weren't receiving. And when reciprocity never arrived, your mind searched for another form of payment. But there isn't one. The moment you recognize that you didn't receive what you deserved is the moment the work ends. There is no more labor to pour into the matter. No conversation is going to recover what was never being given. No fantasy about his future realization will repay what you invested. No amount of waiting will transform an unequal exchange into a balanced one. So stop auditing his loss. Start paying attention to your own. Notice every moment you ignored your needs to meet his. Notice every time you accepted crumbs because you hoped consistency would eventually arrive. Notice how often you placed yourself last while convincing yourself it was love. Then decide that pattern ends here. Because the biggest loss wasn't him losing you. It was you losing yourself while trying to keep someone who wasn't carrying you with the same care. You are your first priority. Learn what that actually looks like. Protect it. Practice it. Live it. And don't abandon yourself again. Never.